Hello everyone, my name is Joseph and welcome back to the POPSICLE KNIGHT channel. Thank you so much for clicking on this video. Please take a second to click the like button if you like this video or hit the thumbs down if you don't. Also, if you enjoy the contents of this channel, please subscribe if you haven't already. This video is sponsored by PTCGO the best place for you to get PTCGO code cards. Are you looking to complete your Pokemon card collection online for the latest set or get booster packs to use for trading online? PTCGO has everything you need. Please use my code KNIGHT22 at checkout so you can get a 5% discount. Help yourself out with the discount, and thank you for helping support the content I create in this channel and for helping out PTCGO. In today's video, we're going to take a look at Gigalith. It is a stage 2 Pokemon with 180 HP, 4 retreat cost, no resistance, and it is weak to grass. It has 2 attacks. The first one is Guard Press. For 1 fighting energy, it will deal 50 damage, and during your opponent's next turn, this Pokemon takes 50 less damage from attacks. That extra damage reduction is actually really helpful, making this Pokemon really tanky. And to amplify the effects of this attack, I will be using the Stone Energy. And since Gigalith is a fighting type, this energy will give it an extra 20 defense. And not only that, since it doesn't have any ability, the full Face Guard tool card will give it an extra 20 defense. So technically, with all 4 Stone Energy attached and the full Face Guard and the effect of this attack, Gigalith can take as much as 150 less damage from an attack. This is very important as we discuss its second attack, Pressure Shot. For 1 fighting and 2 colorless energy, it will deal 180 damage. And this Pokemon also does 10 damage to itself for each damage counter on it. The attack damage from this attack is actually pretty decent since it can pretty much 2-hit KO any Pokemon in the game. And the attack cost is easily payable with the help of Twin Energy, which I will include 4 in this build. The effect of this second attack can be very scary though, which means any damage on Gigalith will be doubled. And this is probably one of the reasons why players deviate from using Gigalith. However, we can easily work around it by increasing its defense thanks to its first attack. Obviously, the less damage Gigalith takes, the less likely that it will get knocked out even with a doubling of the damage counters on it. And not only that, I will be focusing on healing Gigalith back up in case we take any significant damage. To do that, I will be using 3 copies of InDDV with a Watch Over ability. Once during your turn, you may heal 20 damage from your active Pokemon. So with all 3 in play, we can heal as much as 60 HP to our active Pokemon. And not only that, I will also be using 1 copy of Pokemon Center Lady to help heal Gigalith by 60 HP. As for the other cards worth noting, for consistency, I'm using Snorlax with the Gormandize ability. While it ends your turn, if this Pokemon is in the active spot, you can draw cards until you have 7 in your hand. I also included 4 copies of Scoop Up Net, which can help us remove any of our single prize Pokemon out of the board in case they sustain a lot of damage, which removes liability. I also have Training Court Stadium. Once per turn, we can get a basic energy card from the discard pile back to our hand, 1 Tool Scrapper, and 2 copies of Bird Keeper, which is great for drawing 3 cards and switching our Pokemon. This is especially useful since Gigalith has 4 retreat costs. The strategy of this build is pretty straightforward. Tank hits, heal, and attack for a lot of damage. And that's pretty much it. The deck list will be in the description below, but enough talk, let's see this Gigalith in action. Alright, awesome. So our opponent's gonna allow us to go first. I'm gonna start off with a Snorlax, which still one of my favorite consistency cards, especially when I am playing budget builds. We don't have any other basic, but thankfully we have Quick Ball to start. We can get the basic for our Gigalith, so we can start setting it up. So let's do that. I might have to just sacrifice one of these and get our Roggenrola and put that in the bench. Attach an energy, and I'm just gonna Gormandize here for 3. And that's gonna get me 2 InDDVs and a Scoop Up Net. Scoop Up Net is great. It can get Snorlax out of the active, but it can also get any of our single prizers, especially if they're heavily damaged. You can just scoop them up so that you can remove any liability from play. And we're up against a Sylveon VMAX Rapid Strike build, I suppose I could say. And I know Sylveon VMAX centers its strategy on how many different Pokemon typing are on the bench. The more different types are on the bench, the more damage its attack will deal. So we're gonna have to watch out for that, but at the same time, I'm not too worried because we're gonna try and decrease the attack damage taken from our opponent increase our Gigalith's defense. So we have to build up Stone Energy real quick and find our full face guard early on, if we can find it. But on our next turn, we have Professor's Research, so I might probably just put both Indeedee Vs in the bench and attach the Twin Energy on our Roggenrola. And then, unfortunately, we don't have a rare candy, which we'll need to evolve into. And Sylveon is using its Dream Gift ability. It allows you to find any one card from the deck, but it ends your turn. And we have a stage 1, so I might as well evolve into Boldore, and I'll just Gormandize because I don't really want to discard any of these cards with the Professor's Research. But at least we got a Skyla from the Gormandize. We can evolve into Gigalith on our next turn, and then we have Twin Energy so that we can deal 180 damage if we really want to. Our opponent now has Octillery set up so they can find any Rapid Strike items or cards from their deck, which could really speed up their setup as well. But as of right now, we're a little bit safe because their Pokemon doesn't have any energies right now. So what I'm gonna do probably in the next turn is scoop up my Snorlax, because we can start attacking with Gigalith. Especially we have Twin Energy available. And most probably I'm just gonna use Skyla to get another Gigalith line set up, because you don't want to get stuck with just one attacker present in play, because if they knock it out, you don't have any other attacker and you're sitting duck, and all your Pokemon will just get knocked out in the process. So let's scoop up our Snorlax, put Gigalith in the active, and I think, I mean, I could use Professor's Research, but I'll just use Skyla and get myself a Quick Ball, because I don't want to discard the Stone Energy in the process by using Professor's Research, because I might need that. So I'll just get the basic for our Gigalith, and then I'm just gonna I can use Pressure Shot, but I think Guard Press would be the best option here, because we can't knock out Sylveon V just yet. But if they manage to set up their whole bench, it's going to be dealing, I think, more than 200 damage, and that's going to knock out our Gigalith. And having no secondary attacker set up, it's going to be really bad for us, because they can just keep attacking the Pokemon we put in the active, and they can get ahead in prize so fast that way. So having that increased defense is great for this turn. But they're going to hammer away our Twin Energy, unfortunately. So now we won't be able to knock out the Sylveon V on our next turn. But they still have their Octillery. Anyways, they're probably just going to get their Sylveon VMAX into play. So it's going to be out of range. We won't be able to knock it out anyways. But again, our Gigalith has 50 defense as of right now. So it's taking 50 less damage from the Sylveon's attack. But how many more Pokemon can they set up on the bench is the question. But they're going to use Greening Call, so they're not going to attack just yet. They're not going to attack just yet. So that gives us one more turn, I suppose, but we can't attack. I can use Professor's Research, hopefully find a Twin Energy. But that's not a guarantee. So I'll probably just use Stone Energy to increase defense. I'll probably not get a Gigalith because I want to just use Professor's Research. We get a lot. We get a lot of candy. I don't want to use Training Court just yet because they might have the Tower of Waters, and we could easily just bump it out. So I'll just continue to use Guard Press here, continue to increase our defense by 50. Anyways, that's the only attack I can use right now. But our hand is just looking really terrible. It's really terrible right now. So Gigalith has 180 HP. They need to, well, technically with the guard press, 50 defense plus the stone energy, so that's 70 defense. They need to attack for 250 damage on our Gigalith to knock it out. 250 damage. So really, the defense adds to the strength of Gigalith. It's such a tanky it's such a tanky Pokemon. It's like a hidden gem, you might say, because a lot of players thought really low of Gigalith because of its second attack. So Gigalith, if it has damage counters on it, it doubles. That damage counters get doubled if you attack with the pressure shot. But if you can heal that up to 100%, Gigalith's attack is actually really strong. For 180, you can hit KO any Pokemon in the game. But you have to play it smart too, between the guard press and also pressure shot. So even with that, our opponent hits for 120 damage, but without our defenses, they're actually hitting for how much? 190, if I got it right. So let's heal this back up with our Indeedee V's Watchover ability. And I'll just start setting up my second Gigalith here. Let me remove their Rapid Strike Stadium. But I really want to set up my second Gigalith here, so I'll just use Bird Keeper. We don't draw into anything that will evolve into Gigalith, but we have Skyla. We can use that in the next turn. But I really want to deal some big damage on this Sylveon VMAX. It has 210 HP. Unfortunately, it's out of range from knockout just yet. But I think I'll just deal a huge amount of damage. Anyways, Gigalith, the damage counter on it will not knock it out just yet. So we'll deal 180 damage. The damage counter on a Gigalith gets doubled to 160. So we survive by 20 HP. So most likely they're just gonna knock out our Gigalith. But that's okay because we can use Skyla to get Evolution Incense. And then we can Rare Candy our Roggenrola into Gigalith. And with the energy discarded after they knock out this Gigalith, we can use our Training Court Stadium to get that energy in case we don't get it from our top deck. And then we can just finish off this Sylveon VMAX. So at least we have our few moves thought out. Hopefully they don't Marnie us though, because then all this rare candy will be in the bottom of our deck. But they're gonna boss our Indeedee V, knocking it out for 190 damage. So they get 2 prizes for that. And okay, so that's a little unfortunate, but we'll need to knock out this Sylveon VMAX. I'm thinking we can use Skyla to evolve into another Gigalith. Let's see, I can use Skyla. Or here, actually, you know what? Here. This is out of ordinary, but I'm thinking to just scoop up this Gigalith. That will discard energy, but we can use Training Court to get that energy. And now we can use our Rare Candy to evolve into Gigalith. Use Training Court to get 1 fighting energy. And then all we need to do is attach this energy. And let's see. I can use Skyla for what though? Let's see. I can get another Quick Ball. Can set up a third Roggenrola. Pokemon Center Lady actually looks pretty good, because if they retaliate, we can heal back up if we need to. So I think I'll just get Pokemon Center Lady to set up for our next turn. And I'll use Guard Press to knock out this Sylveon VMAX, getting us our 3 prizes. So 2 prizes in exchange for 3 is not too bad. We get a Roggenrola. So now we can set up 2 other Gigaliths in the bench if we need to, and an Indeedee V to keep up with our healing. So again, with the increased defense, because we use guard press and the full face guard, we are actually reducing damage by 70. And this Blaziken VMAX deals 130 damage, but they have a tool scrapper, and that will remove our full face guard, and that will bring our defense back to 50. So their Blaziken VMAX will be dealing 80 damage to our Gigalith, and then they can energize the Pokemon on their bench. So we're in a little bit of a pickle here, but we have Pokemon Center Lady to heal Gigalith back up to full HP. And if they keep their Blaziken VMAX in the active, they won't be able to knock out Gigalith because it has a lot of HP. But what we need here is a Twin Energy. I really would like to deal 180 damage to this Blaziken VMAX, put it in range, and then all we need to do is find like a boss, and then we can boss Blaziken VMAX in the active and then knock it out for the win. And like I said, Gigalith seems very scary to play because, again, with the doubling of the damage counter, but there's a way around it. And after playing a few games with this, it's actually it's a really good card. Aside from it being a stage 2, you know, if you can set up really quickly, especially with the help of the rare candy, it's actually, you can attack for 180 damage as early as turn 2, because technically you only need 2 energies, 1 fighting and 1 twin energy, deal 180 damage. And they're gonna be able to energize their Urshifu and Sylveon. And what's this? What's this? Look at that. Ask and you shall receive. So all we have to do here is really heal our Gigalith back up. We got the twin energy from our top deck, and we can definitely attack for 180 damage to this Blaziken VMAX. Gigalith has 120 HP. If we heal with DDV and save our Pokemon Center Lady, it'll double the damage, but then we won't survive an attack. So I think, let me just get an energy from the discard with the Training Court for now. And I could set up another Gigalith line. So I could use this Roggenrola. We have rare candy on hand anyways. Or I could use Bird Keeper to draw into more cards. Let me just heal back up with Pokemon Center Lady. Put the twin energy and then just attack with Pressure Shot. And there it is. So again, there is a workaround to that second attack. If you can heal back up really nicely, close to 100% HP with Gigalith, you don't really have to worry about that, the effect of that second attack. So 180 damage puts this Blaziken VMAX in knockout range in the next turn. All we really need is a boss to boss it up to the front. Most likely they're gonna retreat with it, attack with Rapid Strike or Urshifu VMAX maybe, or Sylveon VMAX. What we're gonna need is another Gigalith though to be set up. If anything, I might just use Bird Keeper to draw into 3 cards and then switch back out with our switch. But we need another Gigalith, and we need more energies on our secondary attacker. This Rapid Strike Urshifu is not going to be able to knock out our active though, because even if they switch out, use its first attack for 150, it's not going to be enough. Ooh, that was a close one. Because if that hammer, if that had been successful, we won't be able to hit this Rapid Strike Urshifu for 180. But they're going to target our Roggenrola and our Snorlax, but it wasn't enough to knock it out. They knock out our basic, but that's fine. Our Gigalith basic, but they only get 1 prize for that. So let me start building up this this Boldore here. And ooh, we have full face guard, which is great. Let me watch over this Snorlax, because I don't know, maybe in the long run it will help. Anyways, our other Pokemon doesn't need healing, so let me just put this on our fully energized Gigalith, put it back to the active, and then get a Gigalith here. Can evolve this, so now we have 2 attackers, and I'm just gonna pressure shot. They won't be able to attack for a lot of damage against our Gigalith, and so now we have 2 targets here, either Blaziken or this Rapid Strike. So the Rapid Strike won't be able to attack unless they pivot twice, so put it back into the bench and then into the active, deal 150 damage, but then Gigalith will just knock it out and get our last 3 prizes. So again, Gigalith is insane. It's actually a really good card if you know how to play around all these, you know, your matchups. Obviously, against grass types, I don't think I played with Leafeon VMAX. Gigalith doesn't do too well, especially with it's being hit for weakness, and it has a lot of retreat cost. So against Leafeon VMAX, Gigalith is just it's a goner. But overall, against a lot of matchups, even tier 1 decks, Gigalith actually really puts up a really hard fight against those matchups. So as you can see here, it's putting up it's putting up a really good fight. One other weakness I find in this build though is in DDV. It becomes a liability because it only has 180 HP. So if they target our in DDV, especially if we set up like 3 of them and then that's all they target, they can definitely win easily. Get their 6 prizes if they just knock out our V Pokemon. And they're just gonna attack regularly with that attack, and they only deal 10 damage, and we'll just heal it back up with in DDV, and that's gonna be game. A pressure shot for another 180 damage, getting us our last 3 prizes. There you have it, guys. Alright, so my opponent chooses to go first, and we're going to start off with in DDV. So starting off with in DDV is less ideal for me. And having it in the active is really difficult too because it has 2 retreat cost. So just getting it out of the active takes a lot of work. So most probably I'm going to use Skyla and my next turn get a switch to get it out of the active. I have Quick Ball though, which is great, so that I can get a Snorlax and then start drawing more cards off of that. Yeah, sure. Let me get an extra one. We get a rare candy from that extra card. Mulligan from our opponent. That will help us to evolve into Gigalith even faster. But we have to set up our basic first. And again, that extra need to use a supporter. Okay, we get a Ruggenrola, which is great. So now I can probably use Quick Ball, but which one to discard? I can start using my energy to energize Ruggenrola. So most probably I'll just use Scoop Up Net to discard. Get my Snorlax. Energize my Ruggenrola. Skyla. And get myself a switch to get in DDV out of the active. Then we can Gormandize for 4 cards. Thankfully, our opponent hasn't put any Metal Energies in play just yet, so it might take a few turns before they can set up their Corviknight and start attacking. That is unless they are able to set up with like a Quick Ball, discard their Metal Energy, and then if they have Metal Saucer, then they can easily just energize that Corviknight. But they will need to get this Bronzor out of the active, although it only needs okay, never mind, they evolve into Bronzong, so if that, okay, they had a switch. I was gonna say if that was me, I would have retreated first and then evolve into Bronzong. And that's a challenge too with playing Pokemon. This card game is the sequencing. You have to really do a certain move in a certain precise sequence, because if you don't, it could mess up your whole strategy, or it could even trap you. But it was good though that our opponent had that switch, so they could switch out into their Corviknight easily. And Corviknight has free retreats, so they don't have to worry about that. Let me get rid of their Crystal Cave, maybe. Let me just attach this Twin Energy. And yeah, let me just get that out of the way. I might just have to use Professor's Research here. But then I'm discarding a lot of really useful cards. Let me boss their Bronzong into the active and I'll Gormandize. So the reason for that is if they don't have any switching items, scoop up or whatever, they're gonna be dependent on putting energy on Bronzong to hard retreat. And I mean, unless they can set up their Metagross, Bronzong can easily just retreat. But as of right now, since they evolved into stage 1, that means they can't evolve into Metagross, so they can't retreat. And that metal transfer, either they retreat here, they won't be able to attack. So I think that bossing their Bronzong into the active is a good move. And the result of that strategy can vary, because if they have a switching item, especially now they're using Crobat, they could get a switch or something, and they could just easily switch their Corviknight and then transfer those energies with Bronzong, and they can start attacking. Okay, they're gonna use Evolution Incense, another Corviknight VMAX. Okay, so we have Professor's Research. I'd really hate to use it because we have a lot of rare candy. And they're just gonna attack with Zen Headbutt. Dude, you know what? If we can knock out this Bronzong, we can really slow them down. All we really need is a Gigalith here, and we can scoop up our Snorlax. So I'm putting... I'm taking a chance here. I'm gonna use Professor's Research, get rid of all that rare candy, and we get a Gigalith! Dude, that would have been so stupid if none of those... We don't get any Evolution Incense or a Gigalith, but I had to take the chance, man. That will really slow down our opponent. So let me evolve into Gigalith here, and then all we have to do is use Pressure Shot to knock out this Bronzong. So now that removes their ability to switch out any energies from their board at this point, unless they can set up another Bronzong. And also it removes all the energies, so now none of their Pokemon can actually attack, not even their Corviknight. So that puts a really big dent on their strategy now. That puts them really behind, because our Gigalith is going to be attacking for 180 each turn with no... there's no backdraw to our attacks at this point. And that's what I mean with the Pressure Shot attack. I'm pretty sure a lot of players are thinking, hey, you know what? If Gigalith, since it is very weak, you know, there's a lot of strong Pokemon cards out there that can just easily damage Gigalith for a certain amount of damage. And if you attack with Pressure Shot, it doubles that, and just Gigalith just gets knocked out. But that's, you know what, sometimes that will happen just so you can get that 180 damage. But you know what, if you can set up so that you don't receive any damage at all, heal back up, dude, Gigalith has no setback, and you can just continue to use Pressure Shot every turn. And 180 damage is so significant because you can 2-hit KO any Pokemon in the game. So I'm just going to Pressure Shot here, knock out this Beldum, get another prize. And we have another Gigalith coming up. And so we have two attackers. Corviknight VMAX can attack for 240 damage. Even if we use Guard Press, that will increase our defense by 50. So 180 plus 50, 230 damage. Actually, if we can use the Stone Energy with a Guard Press, 50 damage, we can survive an attack, leaving our Gigalith with 10 HP left. But they're gonna boss our Roggenrola. That's fine, we have a switch, we can just switch back out. So let me put a Stone Energy on this Boldor, evolve it into Gigalith, And I think I'm just gonna switch out into Snorlax and then use its Gourmandize. That will allow us to get more cards to set up for a third Gigalith if we can. The reason for that is if we attack this turn, their Corviknight will knock out one of our Gigaliths, and even if we retaliate for 180, they can just easily knock out our other Gigalith, and so we won't have any other attacker after that. So I think the best option really is to just stall, and what we want to do is get that first attack against this Corviknight. Hopefully they don't have a boss, because if they boss one of our Gigalith and then they knock it out, then still actually that would be good, because we'll have a few turns to set up a third Gigalith to deal that finishing blow against this Corviknight VMAX. But they just target our Snorlax, which is actually super awesome. And we have 2 full Phase Guard to attach onto our both our fully energized Gigalith, which is great. And I can use Bird Keeper to even get more cards. So let me just switch out to this. We have, let me add another Stone Energy. So we're definitely not gonna get knocked out here. And let me see what's on the deck, in the deck here. We have Snorlax, we have one rare candy. So let me put that, we could pivot into that. And I'm just gonna pressure shot here for 180 damage against this Corviknight VMAX, and they don't have any defense to their Corviknight, so 180 pure damage. They won't be able to attack this turn now. They have to pivot twice, so if they have a switch, and since they have free retreats, they can just easily retreat back into Corviknight. And even then though, they won't be able to knock out our Gigalith, because as of right now it has 60 defense, so they will need actually, you know what, they'll be knocking it out exactly, because that's like the invisible HP of Gigalith. With an extra 60 defense, they will need to hit for 240 damage against our Gigalith. So they will be able to knock it out actually. But if we use Guard Press, they won't be able to knock it out. But that's all we need, is one more attack. They don't have any other attackers. If they had Bronzong, they could have switched out into another Corviknight maybe, or if they have Cheryl, they can full heal. But again, they won't be able to conserve that energy because they don't have Bronzong anymore. So they're gonna switch out into Crobat V, which is okay, which is okay with me because we're hitting for weakness. Let me put this Stone Energy, Pressure Shot, knocking out this Crobat V for 2 prizes. Okay, another Roggenrola and another NDDV. So yeah, I mean, we're we're pretty much ahead in this game, and our opponent's only taking 1 prize at a time. And they have Tool Jammer, which actually doesn't really matter because they'll be able to knock out our Gigalith regardless. Although I could have just put that Stone Energy on our active and be able to survive an attack. But then with the Tool Jammer, that will reduce the defense. Okay, well, whatever. But at least, you know what? We have our other Gigalith all set up. So all we really need to do is Pressure Shot here for the win, taking our last 2 prizes against this Corviknight VMAX build. So there you have it. Pure defense and offense. Gigalith is really awesome. Gigalith is such an awesome tank. With its Guard Press attack and with the help of some modifiers, it can reduce damage from attacks very significantly. And despite the fear of using its second attack, which is actually 180 strong, we can work around it by keeping Gigalith's HP close to 100%. This goes to show that you really never know just how strong a Pokemon card can be unless you give them a chance. I was pleasantly surprised at how strong Gigalith really is, and I'm really happy to be able to showcase its full potential. And that's it for the video. If you enjoyed this video, please smash the like button, let me know in the comments below what you think of this build and the gameplay, and please subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you so much for watching the Popsicle Knight channel, and as always, stay safe and have a great day.